In this video, we're going to take a look at generating a finished schedule. In order to have a finished schedule, I do need to make sure that I have rooms created. So I'm going to go to my architecture tab and place rooms automatically. Okay, automatically generated 4 rooms for me there. Now I'm going to go back to my view tab, to my schedules drop down again. And this time for the category, I'm going to select rooms. All right, this one's going to be a lot more custom than the furniture schedule. We're going to have to do a little bit more work here. I'm going to go ahead and say OK. What we want to end up with is the room number, the room name, and then fields for the floor finish, the base finish, and then the walls and the ceiling. So those aren't all automatically in here. So we're going to end up, we have name and number for the rooms, but then we're going to need to build in a lot of these other parameters. So we have some that we can use. Here's a base finish. We have a ceiling finish and a floor finish. So we can put those in, but we're going to need to build everything else. So to do that, I'm going to create a new parameter. And I'm going to give this a parameter a name. So I know that I have a floor finish, but I need a floor material. So the floor material would be what the substrate is that the finish is going on. So most likely, it would be concrete, but that might vary. So that's what the material is going to be. And then the really important thing is to make sure to change the type of parameter to text. All right, once you've created the parameter, you can't edit this. So really important to make sure whenever you're doing this, you're creating them by switching in the type of parameter to text. Okay, so that's good. So I've got floor material. I'm going to say OK there. So I'm going to want to have a finish and a material for each one of these items. So that means I need a base material. Need sure to switch that type of parameter to text. It's going to get pretty repetitive, but now I need a ceiling material. Okay, so we've got these. I'm going to go ahead and organize these. So flooring goes first and material goes before finish. So floor material, then floor finish, right? Then base material, and then base finish, and then we're going to put the walls in here too, and we'll move ceilings down. But you just start at the very base, on your floor, and then work your way up the walls, or up the height of the building is how I like to think about it. So we need to add in 8 parameters for the walls because each room is going to have a north, east, south, and west. So we need to add in a material and a finish for each of those. So I like to start out. You can start out whichever one. Each one of these has to have its own unique name. All right, so that's 3, 5 more to go. Oops, that needs to be north. Switch this to text. And just missing west here. All right, so now ceiling's going to go all the way down. I'll just hold shift down there to select both at once. Ceiling goes to the very bottom, material before finish though. And then for the finish schedule, you're going to go north, east, south, and then west. So that's the order: material before finish, material before finish, material before finish, and then last one there, material before finish. Okay, so there's all of our parameters. So I'm now going to click OK. The room name and number, number should be first. Whoops, switch that. The room name and number are automatically generated by Revit, so you can edit them here or in the room tag. If you do edit room numbers, you'll notice that right now it's not sorting by the numbers. So similar to the furniture schedule, I want to go into sorting and grouping and tell it to sort by number. And that's going to do that there. Then from there, you can add room names here. But we're gonna do a little bit of work on the grouping here. So right now, this, the floor material and floor finish, we want to group those together. So I'm just going to click and drag. Okay, one click, I'm holding down, click and drag, and then I'm gonna say group. So that's gonna give it a subheader. So I'm gonna do that for each one of these. So I'm just clicking and dragging and grouping. All right, we'll add titles here in a minute. I'm just gonna get these formatted first. And then the walls actually have one. I'm gonna select all 4 of those top titles. I'm gonna add that in. So there's one header controlling all of the walls. So the way that this is then gonna lay out is, as far as formatting goes, this would be room number. Whoops. Room number. Everything in these is typically in caps. So this becomes the top, the overall category here, and then material finish, base material finish. This one would then be called North, because this is going to go to oops. And I think I can just start to copy paste this to speed it up just a little bit. So this one's going to be ceiling. This overarching one is walls, and then north, east, south, west. All right, so that's it. That's our finished schedule. So typically then, for your construction documents for a project, you would then go in and fill in all this information. You don't have to do that for this class, and just creating the schedule is enough. We'd also call this finished schedule. But you would go in and so you would fill in each one of these columns and say, so example, again, you don't have to do this. You'll see in the final that it's left blank, but you would say like concrete, and then it might be carpet, carpet 1, and then the base would be gyp, because that's going to be the wall substrate that it's on. Then the finish might be rubber base 1, and then the walls would be, they might be CMU, maybe they're concrete, something like that. But this, again, this material is the substrate that it's on. Not some material schedules include this material, some don't. So that varies. And this is just kind of for info only. And then for the finish, you would add in, if this is paint 1, maybe there's an accent as well. Maybe this one's all of an accent. And then this one's just field again. So you would add all that information in for each room. So you're looking at your finish schedule and you're going back and forth and working that out. So ACT or acoustical ceiling tile. So that would just be an example of how you're filling that out. Again, it can remain blank for the final project.